Before we get started, if you guys need any equipment for your studio, make sure you guys go ahead and click my link in the description and head over to Zounds.com. Zounds has a whole bunch of stuff on the site, and they have a whole bunch of stuff on the site that requires no credit or background check, meaning all you have to do is order it, they'll ship it to you, and you can make monthly payments. All you have to do is add a credit or debit card up to the account, and you can go ahead and get your stuff just like that. So if you guys need some equipment, make sure you guys go ahead and click my link in the description and head over to Zounds.com and get you some equipment today. Also, you guys know I rock with Analog Cases because they make the best cases to protect your gear, and they make the most professional stands to protect your gear as well. And they just released a new travel backpack called the Track Pack. The Track Pack Travel Backpack. Wonder if you can say that 3 times in a row. But this is the ultimate musician's backpack to travel with. This is a professional musician's backpack. You can put your MPC Live 2 in there. You can put your Machine Plus, your Roland SP404. You can add in your MIDI controllers as well, and you even have a compartment to add your laptop in there too. And everything stays protected because this bag is heavily insulated with nothing but protection. And to make things even better, they have a whole bunch of compartments where you can put your cords, your keys, your cell phones, hell, the kitchen sink if you want to put that in there too. So if you're a professional musician that is on the go, make sure you guys go ahead and check out this Track Pack Traveler's Backpack. I'm telling you right now, you will not be disappointed. Go ahead and click my link in the description to Analog Cases and save 10% today. Yo, what is good? What is good, everybody? What is good? We are here to discuss something really big, y'all. We are here to discuss something really big because this has been a topic that I've been talking about for a long time. And hold on, something ain't right. Hold on, something ain't right. Y'all hear me? Do y'all hear me? Hold on. I think I got the wrong settings on here. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I do have the wrong settings. Hold on. Yo. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me good? Y'all hear me? Do you hear me? I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. All right, I had to make a setting on there. I'm a little low. All right, cool. All right, so basically, the other day I made a live to where I was showing you guys about Studio One, because we all know that Studio One 7 is coming. It's coming soon, and I like Studio One. I'm just gonna say that right now. I like Studio One a lot, and I've been producing on it more and more lately because it sounds really good. I like how you can move in Studio One. I like how you can just drag and drop your instruments in there. I like how you can mix in there. I like how you can do different mix arrangements in there with the mixers. I like a lot of stuff in Studio One. And it's one of those programs where I think it's a very cutting edge program because I feel like it's one of those programs where you can really like dive in deep and really get in there and like really do some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Made a really dope beat on it yesterday, and been making a lot of beats on it, especially when I'm using like my MPC and stuff like that. When I route all my sounds and everything in there, I like to use Studio One because I can actually move a bit faster in Studio One. However, to me, being, totally honest with you guys, I am still very much a Logic person when it comes to certain things, because I think that Logic has features that, that other programs just don't have. Now, I forgot to turn off the ad thing. So if you guys see an ad, stay on here. I'm not going nowhere, so just stay on here either way. But right now, Studio One is moving up the charts with me. Don't get me wrong, it's moving up the charts. But I am still, very much amazed on how good the sampler is in Logic, and how you can move samples, how you can use samples, chop samples, and do all of that stuff inside of Logic. Like, it is just better. And what I was talking about on the last live when I was talking about everything with Studio One and everything, I was talking about their sampler and their impact sampler. Okay. And I know some people were sitting there and some people tried to correct me on a few things, and some people were saying, well, you're not explaining everything the right way. I think I got kind of lost in translation what I was saying. So I decided to come back and make another video today to explain to you guys what I was saying and how dope the drum machine designer is over impact. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to answer your questions while we're doing this live too as well. Vendetta for Life Records. Next question is, would you use most with the MPC, Logic, or Studio One? Mostly with the MPC, I'm going to be honest with you, it's been Studio One because they have a really quick feature in there. The way I route in my beats, I line everything up by the clicks. So I like to use the Shift Tab feature, which is the same thing they have in Pro Tools. The only thing about Pro Tools is if you try to drag an audio track down to another track, it does not allow you to do that. You have to create the audio track. That's why I think Studio One is a very superior program, because it just makes things a lot easier, especially for me. So, but so far as with Logic, they have a feature that you can do that, but it's not as easy as doing the Shift Tab feature inside of Studio One, which I probably think that you can, probably create that in Logic. But so far as of right now, when I'm making just beats just by themselves, or if I'm using samples or loops and I'm in the box, I am using Logic. Okay. I used to be an FL Studio guy. I was with FL for about 3 or 4 years. But when it comes to just using samples now and importing samples and stuff like that, Logic is the way to go. If Studio One, if they decide that they want to do chops and everything like that in their sampler, that would be great, because right now the only way you can actually do chops is by chopping things up, putting on the sampler. Now you can put them in the sampler XT. You got to take it and then right click it and put it into the pads on the impact, which is cool. But you know what I'm saying? It's not intuitive. It's not dope. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's not dope. So it's cool, but I'm not into it. Okay. But with me, how I track my stuff out, like if I'm using anything with like a DAW or whatever, if I'm using my DAW setup and I'm routing in tracks, I don't use any MIDI, because I don't, with my experience with MIDI over the years, you have MIDI time dropouts, you have a lot of stuff like that. So what I like to do is I like to record everything in with no MIDI. I like to record everything in with the clicks, inside of these programs, because things just work better that way. And I know a lot of people like Els, you say, well, you know a way to record in, track out your MPC in Studio One. I know how to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like to use no type of MIDI or no other type of situations like that. So I try to figure out different ways to try to get the best sound and try to get the best, overall best workflow for everything. That's just the way I try to do things. And now that I have this workflow, so far as like with Studio One, which is, like I said before, very dope. Logic, doper, sample wise, but with all of these different tools, I try to find the most efficient way with everything. Okay, that's just me. It's all about efficiency when I try to get stuff done. You know what I'm saying? And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Drum Machine Designer. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys how dope this thing is, and I'm going to explain to you guys what I was meaning when I was saying this, because a lot of you guys were coming back. I know one dude, he made a video, really cool video though. He made a cool video. I actually commented on his stuff. I don't know his name, but I actually commented on his video. He made a good video explaining. The sampler. The Impact XT and everything, and how you could put lanes and stuff like that, because I was not familiar with using it like that, which I didn't know you could put lanes in like that. And shout out to DJ Toomp, the legendary DJ Toomp. He texted me and he was like, yo, you can put lanes in there. He actually let me know like 10 or 15 minutes after I made the video. after I went live with it, he was like, yo, you can do it. And I was like, oh, okay, all you gotta do, he's like, all you gotta do is right click on it and do this and do that, which is cool. I get it. But like I said before, it is too much clicking. Okay, it's too much clicking. You know what I'm saying? For me, I try to get stuff done, and I don't want to be sitting here doing all of this clicking. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and I'm going to show you guys what's so dope. Grimy Needle, I'm going to show you right now why this is so much doper, okay? And I try to tell people this. Just because something has more of it does not mean it is better, okay? 128 pads is cool, but it doesn't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? MPC only got 16 pads. That's all I need. The Sampler XT has all these pads, but nobody is chopping up 128 pads unless you're trying to chop up pretty much a whole song. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and, discuss this, and I'm going to answer your questions as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to answer your question about that, and we're going to get to it. So let's go ahead and go over to Logic right now. Let's go and make sure I got the right screen. Here we go. All right, so we got Logic in here, and as you can see, is this the right one? There we go. There we go. All right, so we got Logic in here, and as you guys can see, it is just a dope program, period. Very simple, very well put together, and you can do so much stuff in this. Now, before I get started, make sure you guys, if you guys are watching this right now, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me. Let's get a few more people in here. I'm not going to be on here long. I'm just going to go and just show you guys this real quick. And then if you guys want to go ahead and watch this later on, you can go ahead and watch this later on because this will be put up for good. Okay, so you can always come back and watch this. I've done videos on the Drum Machine Designer before, but this is for all of the Studio One people who say that this is better and this is better, and I'm going to prove to you guys how much better this is. Okay? So, right now, please, y'all go ahead and hit that like button for me. Just hit that thumbs up button for me real quick, and we can go ahead and get into this. All right, so first things first. As you guys can see, we have Drum Machine Designer pulled up. Okay, let's go ahead and click on this right here. We got the DMD pulled up, and let's open this up. Now, right now, we have 16, okay? We got 16. We can go all the way up to, I think, 48, okay? We got up to like 48 sounds that we can put in here. Is it 48 or 52? No. Hold on. Yeah, it's 48. It's 48 sounds. We can use up to 48 sounds inside of each Drum Machine Designer, okay? The cool thing about the Drum Machine Designer versus the Impact is, one thing I can do is, of course, with both of them, you can take both of these and you can take the sound and just drag it right in, okay? So I just dragged in the sound and, it comes up like this and it has all the controls, the pitch, all this stuff like that. You got the polyphony and everything. You can turn that to mono. So if I want to play this 808 bass and I'm playing it, you don't hear nothing until I press it. So now I'm playing it. You hear this 808 bass, it sounds good. Okay, it's great. I got it in mono. The power of this program is, this is not just it. On Studio One, yes, you can make it go into its own lanes and all that stuff like that. But in Logic, you don't have to do any of that extra stuff. All you got to do is go right here to this containing track and just press one arrow and bam, that 808 is on its own lane. Okay? Is on its own lane, and you can treat this main track right here as like an aux channel or anything. So if I open up this mixer, you have the full Drum Machine Designer, and now we have the 808 on its own channel, and they go ahead and they route out for you your own aux. So you have your own reverb and delay already set for you already. But the cool thing about this is, when you go ahead and you make this its own lane with the 808 now, you have this to where you can go. It goes all the way up and down the octaves on your keyboard. You cannot do that on the Impact at all. Only on this you can do that. Okay? Now that's just the 808. Now let's just say, for instance, I want to go ahead and I want to click back out of that. I can't do it no more because it's not in its own lane. I can go back into here, right? And let's just say, for instance, I want to add out of my 2023 drum kit, which you guys need to get, which is actually very dope. Say, for instance, I want to get a snare. And I'm going in here and I'm selecting different things. And let's say, for instance, this snare right here. I can go ahead and drag this onto a track, okay? As you guys can see, it's not just this sampler detail. You actually have a whole sampler in here. A whole sampler. Not no BS sampler, a whole damn sampler, okay? So if we want to come in here, we can change this to a classic sample to where as soon as we let it go, it stops, or we can do it as a one shot where it goes all the way through. We can take this, we can move these, chop the sample. We can do all of this, right? Or let's just say, for instance, we got the snare and everything in there. Let's say, for instance, we want to go to splice or something like that, right? We can go into splice, right? We can go into splice. I can go into my library, and let's just say I want to get me like a loop or something. Let's just go into like a melody and say, for instance, we want to just get something like this right here, right? So say, for instance, when I go into splice, I can take this and drag that on there, okay? All right, let's stop that real quick. Now, let's say, for instance, we want to do that, right? So now I actually have an 808, I have a snare, and I have the sample right here, right? I got all this stuff going on. So, hold on now, you need to stop now. Hold on, you need to stop. All right, so we have all this going on in here, right? So we got all this going on. What I can do now is, since I opened up this lane right here, which I have all of these right here, I can use these now. My 808 can go up and down. My snare can go all the way up and down. And even for my sample now, what I can do is I can actually take my sample and slice this sample up while I'm still in the Drum Machine Designer. So I can take this, I can do it by transients, or I can do it by beat divisions, equal divisions, however I want to do it. So say, for instance, I want to do beat divisions, I can do it like that, or I can do equal divisions, okay? So now when I'm playing this, I can go back into my sampler detail, change the polyphony to mono. So now I have a whole sample, and I can play this. I can play this down. Just like that. You cannot beat that. You cannot beat it. I don't care what anybody says, you cannot do this in the Impact. You can't do it. And if anybody says you can, show it to me. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing better. You know what I'm saying? Nothing better. You know what I'm saying? So now, what I can do now is right here in just the Drum Machine Designer. Now, if I close this up, then it's not going to work like that. But if when I open this up, it automatically gives me the lane. So now if I want to go ahead and I want to record something real quick, right? And let me turn the quantize on, even though some of y'all are like, why you be turning the quantize on? Right? I can go right here to this lane right here, chop up the sample. Let's go and record this real quick. Let's actually, what is that? What is that sample tempo? It's like 146, I believe. So I'm gonna go up here and change the sample tempo to 146. And then there's other stuff you can do in here too. I'm not gonna go too deep, but you can actually go ahead and really like go deep. So. Okay, sample chopped up. I can put my snare in here. Put my snare in there. And now I can put my 808. can put that in there real quick. Yeah. Done. Let's put a hi-hat in there. So we're gonna put like a little cheap hi-hat in here. Okay, we have it. Boom, it's already made for us. All right, let's put that in there. Put that on the 116. Now, I love Studio One. Love it. But that's why I was saying that the Impact XT needs to update to be able to do this. The cool thing about this is now if I have these lanes open, look, got these lanes already open. Everything is pretty much ready to go, right? Got these lanes open. Now I can go ahead and since this is all in the Drum Machine Designer, this works as like an aux channel now. So if I play it, everything, if I turn this main channel down, everything is down now, okay? If I want to go and add effects or whatever I want to do, I can do that on this actual channel as well. I can do it on the channel, but I have controls where I can do it on the individual tracks too. So on the snare, I can go ahead and turn up the reverb on the snare. And it doesn't affect all the other sounds or add a delay to it. So you can do all of this. You can do all of this in the Drum Machine Designer. You can sample it, chop it, do all of this, okay? But the thing about it is, okay, Beat Buffer, you can say, yeah, they got the idea from the Impact XT, but the Impact XT never grew from that. You know what I'm saying? It never grew. That's the only thing I'm saying about that is. That's why I was like, yo, they need to change this because this is what will put, I believe, Studio One above Logic if they had better samplers. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that Studio One is not great. Studio One is great, but Logic right now does have the upper hand. You know what I'm saying? Does have the upper hand right now, even though the Sampler XT has been out, but the Drum Machine Designer has been out for a long time too. You know what I'm saying? For a long time. But they have not evolved that to where it really could be. Because you could look at all the stuff you could do with it. Now, let's get back to this. Okay? Let's just forget the Drum Machine Designer, right? Let's not even think about that. Let's just say we just want to use any type of a sample. Let's say, for instance, we want to go ahead and let's get rid of the Drum Machine Designer, right? Let's get rid of that. We don't even want to use that, all right? We're just going to have like a blank little track right here or whatever we want to use, right? Let's just say, for instance, I want to go through and I'm going to go back to Splice. I'm going to get that same sample and I'm just going to drag this in. This is a cool thing about Logic. I can drag in the sample. I don't have to create nothing. I don't have to do anything. I can drag in the sample and I can go right here and just do like a quick sampler, right? Same thing like Studio One. I don't have to right click. You know, Studio One, I got to right click. I got to do all this other stuff, right? Don't have to do that. I can just drag the sample in. Now what I can do is I can go through here and then I can actually take this sample, right? And I can either make it a one shot or I can, you know, slice it up like I did before. I'm going to do equal divisions, right? Everything's cool. And I can chop this. So, you know, got everything chopped up. Everything is ready to go. Now, the cool thing about this is, right? We got it set at 146. I can go right here and turn on this flex beat, right? And I can follow the tempo, right? I can turn this tempo down immediately. Watch this. I can turn it down to 116 and now the sample
follows the tempo, and you don't hear no artifacts. You don't hear anything else in here. Nothing. No artifacts, no nothing. So if I want to go ahead and just record this at, let's say, for instance, 150, I can go ahead and record this right now at 150. Oh, hold on. My bad, y'all. Let me go back down. Let me get it right here from the top. Oop, my bad. I forgot the other one right here. I forgot that one. And I can do it. And look. Speed up. I can still do everything the same way, right? And even with my drums, I can go back in here with my drums, say where's my hi-hat, just drag it over. I can put it in sample alchemy. I can put it in there. I can take this hi-hat, put it right here, do sample, quick sample optimize, where it'll find out the key for the sample for you. Boom, find the key for you. I can put this in there. My 808s, I can go back in here. My 808s, I can take it, boom, drag this in here. I can put this optimize. What happens optimize, it lets you know what the root key is. It lets you know everything, puts everything in key for you. Okay, and I got all this stuff, and I don't have to do no right clicking. I don't have to do anything else to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was saying how much better this was, because of how you can move inside of Logic when you're dealing with samples. So now I can either do it in the Drum Machine Designer or even with the sampler. I can do it the same way. Now, I'm gonna show you guys something else that's actually really dope, and this is gonna be just a little off topic. So I'm gonna delete these tracks, right? Just gonna delete them, not really care about them, right? So let's go right here, and let's just say I want to go through here and I want to change this, right? And hold on, let me get up out of here. Let me just make like a new track. Just do a software instrument. Actually, let's just go right here to what we got? Studio piano. Let's do a studio piano. All right, so we got a studio piano. So I can go in here right now and I can just play one note. Watch this. Okay, play one note. I'm gonna go in here and make another instrument, and let's just say, for instance, I want to go into retro synth, right? I can go in here and I'm going to take this note. I'm going to take this and just drag this down. I'm going to show you guys how dope this is. So we doing this, right? So we can take that. I just created those two sounds, right? 2 MIDI notes, 2 MIDI sounds. Okay, cool. Okay. What I can do is I can highlight both of these, right? I can highlight these and drag these right here, and I can create either a Drum Machine Designer, a sampler optimized, or a sampler chromatic map. I'm gonna do mine as optimized. Watch this. It takes it, it bounces it down, and guess what it does? It makes its own sound, right? It makes its own sound. I actually messed up on that one, so hold on, y'all. I actually messed up on that. But you can take both of these sounds right here, right? You can take both of them, and let's do optimized again. It's supposed to have bounce. It's supposed to take both of them, and then you can actually take both of these sounds, and then you could drag them into each other, and it'll drag and drop the sounds in here. So it took that sound right there. I can take this piano and put it in here too. And then it have a group for each one of them. I don't know why I didn't do it that time, but okay. But y'all get what I'm saying. I don't know why I didn't do it. You know, sometimes you have little boo-boos on here. But you can take different sounds and you can take those and drag and drop those inside of different things. So let me go back in here. Let me try to do this one more time. I haven't did it in a while, so just kind of bear with me a little bit. But you can take both of these and And I can take this. So I can actually take that, and then I can take both of these, and you're supposed to be able to, well, let's make an audio region real quick. So you can take these and then take them over right here. Let's try to do the sampler chromatic map. Hold on. Go down. So you can do it that way, or you can go ahead and create it, you know, a different way. So you can go right here and then do a sampler optimized map, but it's missing this other, one right here at the top. And I think you have to do it with the actual audio. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take both of these and I'm gonna do a bounce and join just for right now, or I could just join those really. And actually, hold on, y'all. I haven't done this in a while. I've been on Studio One. I've been on Studio One lately. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So I can take that and it creates this, right? And I can take this, put it over here. And now I could do a quick sampler. I could do a sampler zone by note. So I can do like that. And now you can make your own sounds. So you can create your own stuff like that, especially using audio. So if you have audio sounds and you want to create your own stuff, you can do that as well. So that's what makes this so much better, because of what you can do with the samples and what you can do by just adding different stuff in here. And then it just makes it so much easier. So that's why I was saying how dope the Drum Machine Designer and the sampler is better than the ones inside of Studio One, because you do not have the flexibility to do this type of stuff in Studio One. You just can't do it. There's no way around it. You can try. People can try to argue with me about it, but I'm just telling you guys just the real. That is no way around it when you're doing this. Okay, no way around it. So it's so many different things that you can do inside of Logic. Now, another thing that somebody asked me earlier before, and that was, why do sounds in any DAW sound different when you're sampling in it compared to when you just add it directly to the timeline? So say, for instance, this 808. I can take this 808 and I can put this directly into the timeline, okay? The thing is, when you put it directly in the timeline, it's not being touched by anything, okay? So you can just play it. It sounds good. It sounds natural. It sounds like how it's supposed to sound, okay? But then if you go ahead and you put this in a sampler, say, for instance, like this, it does not sound the same. I'm playing the same note, but you play it on here, sounds bigger. But if you play it on the sampler, it doesn't sound as big. The reason why is it's going through something different. It's going through a sampler, which now you have more zeros and ones. You got to convert things over, whatever. Things just don't sound the same when you do it that way. And that's on every single DAW. Every single one except for the MPC. The MPC DAW, that thing just sound good. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. The MPC DAW sounds amazing. It's the closest one to like analog. And the machine. I ain't gonna lie to you, the machine software sounds really good too. Machine software sounds really good. But it's on any DAW. That's why when people say, thank you, Jackie, Jackie Bye? Thank you so much for that donation. But it's for any DAW. It doesn't matter. That's why some people are like, oh, all DAWs sound the same. They don't sound no different. Yes, when you're importing stuff directly into the timeline, but when you're using any type of samplers or whatever, it does change the sound, and that's on every single last one of the DAWs. So what I tell a lot of people is, if you can directly import your sounds while you're making beats, that's going to give you the best sound. That's why if you notice, a lot of people that's why if you notice a lot of people when they make beats, a lot of professional people, they use the actual audio like their kicks and snares. If they're not going up and down the octave with it, they just put it directly on the timeline because it gives you a better sound, okay? They don't use everything in samplers. So say, for instance, like if I have a snare or something like that, I can go ahead and take this snare and I can take this snare right here. And what I do is I just put the snare right on the timeline. It just makes things sound better. So it sounds better. That snare sounds really good, really crisp. It sounds really detailed. But if you put this in here, it sounds good, but it don't sound like this one. Like it just sounds. See, the sampler doesn't sound as good as when you put it directly on the timeline because it's not being touched by anything at that point. You know what I'm saying? But right now, that's why most people, if they're doing stuff, they'll do it the way they just put the sounds directly on here. And that's with every program. It's not Logic. It's not Studio One. It's not FL. It's all of the ones. They all do the same things. They all sound the same when you do it. So everything sounds different. What I say is if you can, put your kicks, put your snares, put your hi-hats, well, not even hi-hats, but definitely your kicks and your snares and anything else, I would put that directly on the timeline. You know what I'm saying? That way you would get something that sounds much better. It just sounds much better that way. And that's, like I said before, that's with every program from Ableton to Logic to Cakewalk, Nuendo, Cubase, all of them. When you put in stuff directly on the timeline, it sounds better. Okay, that's why I like to use my outboard gear with my MP because when it comes in, it's direct audio. So that's why it sounds better. You can get things sounding very good, but your basses, of course, you're going to have to use it in a sampler because you want to go up and down the timeline. I mean, go up and down the octaves. But your snares and stuff like that, put them in like this. And then if you want to go ahead and see it in like a containing folder or something like that, you can go ahead and join them. You know what I'm saying? You could join them like that or however you want to do it. You could join them. And that way you can have it to where it's like it's in some type of a container, as some people like to say. You could do it like that. Or you can do a bounce in place. You can do a bounce in place. You can bounce it like that. It's so many different ways you can get past it. You know what I'm saying? Mixed by V. Amar Perry made a beat in Pro Tools and had his drums actual track. Yeah, it's facts. You know what I'm saying? It's actual facts. Like, this is how you get the best sound if you guys want to go ahead and get that. But like I was saying before, and I hope you guys are hearing me, like I was saying before, the Drum Machine Designer is way better in my eyes than the Impact. The Sampler XT is nowhere near touching the sampler inside of Logic. And this is not hating on Studio One because I just made a dope beat on Studio One yesterday. I posted it up on my IG, on my YouTube shorts and on my IG yesterday. I love using Studio One, how you can use it. But so far it's like sampling and stuff like that. This right here in Logic is much better. And for, we said mixed by V Bolo. How do you route and use your manly voice out of the MP into the DAW? I run it directly in. I run it like a mic signal. So I run my MPC directly through the force to give it that good preamp quality sound, and I run that thing directly into my Apollo, and I get that. It just sounds good. Now, another thing too, for all of you people out there who want to know, the Logic software, you pay for it one time. You don't have to pay for no more upgrades or anything like that. So you pay for Logic one time. One time and you're done. Okay? I think it's $200. You're done. And it does so much stuff, especially for people who like to sample and stuff like that. AJ Lewis, what's your main MPC you use alongside with your DAW? I use mostly the MPC Special Edition, the MPC X Special Edition, or the MPC Key 37. That's the two I use the most with my DAW. Everything else, I kind of just do everything inside the box, like the Live 2. I just pretty much make a beat and leave that in the box. Okay. Joseph, I'm a diehard Studio One user, but they are tripping. They need to update them samplers ASAP. They do. I think with all of the stuff, and the only reason why I'm on Studio One so bad like that is because with all of the great stuff that they have in there, that's the two things that is lacking in that program. Is that you can drag and drop everything else, but you can't even drag and drop. Like if you want to switch out samples, you got to open up the sampler and then take it and then drag it in and hope that screen doesn't close. It's a lot of stuff that you got to do with that. And I feel that you should not have to do that. I feel that's something that they need to get that fixed ASAP. Okay? Even though we know that they're coming out with a new update next week, which I'm very excited for. I'm very excited to get on it and use it and see what it's really all about. But they need to do that. And these are questions that I ask developers when I get to talk to them. I try to ask them like, okay, why isn't this? Why isn't that? Why don't you have this? And the thing is, because Studio One has been so cutting edge type of a program, you would be thinking, well, they should be able to, do this or do that, but they haven't done it. And it's like, why? When you have everything else, like you have everything else in Studio One, like you have everything. And, we can't get better samplers. And we know that this is a lot of people use loops and samples. Now, I understand about using loops and stuff like that. I understand it. I understand, people like to use loops on the timeline and everything like that. That's cool. But you should be able to chop up and do things a little bit better. I'm just being honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And this is no knock to Studio One and what Presonus and, the guys are doing over there. Like, it's no knock to it. But if you guys do see this, you got to update that to keep up with it. Now, somebody just said something about Studio One that's actually better than Logic. If you don't have the latest that David Rios just said, Rios just said the only drawback is that in Logic, you won't get all the features unless you have the most recent Mac update. And that is true. You can only use Studio One on a Mac, number one. I mean, not Studio One. You can only use Logic on a Mac, that's number one. And you have to have the most recent update. So if you have the older laptop, then it'll let you update, but only to the specs of that laptop. Studio One, I actually have it. I actually have my Studio One 6 on my older Mac at the studio. Works perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Everything works in it. Works good. I can make beats in it. All that good stuff. Can't do that with Logic. If you got an older Mac and it's like, say for instance, you're going to use El Capitan or something like that, you ain't going to be able to use the new stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I think with all the updates that Studio One has done, I think that this might be the biggest thing that they need to do. They have some cool features that has been leaked already. I'm not really sure about any other features that could be involved, but they had some features that have been leaked. And, with features that have been leaked, it's been kind of interesting to see how they can work and how they can speed up a workflow and stuff like that, which is cool. But I want to get in there and see, what's really, what's really going on. And yeah, that's a cool thing, Joseph. I seen the stuff leaked with the splice integration and all that stuff like that. And that's what I'm kind of getting to. Like if you're having the splice integration, quote unquote, because I don't know, I don't know what's really kind of going on with that, but with the splice integration and all that stuff like that, if you're going to have that, why don't you update the samplers? You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to drag and drop and make beats, but we still like to cut up samples. And I think you having to put them on the timeline and then you could kind of do like an automatic slice and all that stuff like that. That's cool. But yeah, those samples are outdated. For everything you can do in Studio One, they got to update them samplers. You know what I'm saying? You got to update it. Now, one thing that I do like about Studio One, their browser is much better. Like, one thing I hate about Logic is like, say for instance, you're playing, like say I press play and I'm trying to go through sounds. Look, nothing. It might play. Hold on, something might. Nope. None of the stairs, none of that stuff plays. But when I stop it, it works. You know what I'm saying? I've been on Logic. I've been on them for the longest about getting that fixed. This is one of the biggest drawbacks to the program is the browser right here. And they like, well, you put it into a loop thing and this, that. No. Make this thing work while we're in play so I can go through my sounds and say, for instance, oh, I like this snare. I can't do that. We need like a browser like Studio One. The only thing with Studio One is if we want to put it into a sampler, we got to right click on it and do all that stuff. In Logic, you just get the sound and just drag that bad boy in there and you can decide what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You can put this in Sample Alchemy. You can put this in a quick sampler. You could do all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like this, I can put this in Sample Alchemy and everything plays. And then you can actually do more stuff inside the Sample Alchemy. You know, look at that. So it's a lot of stuff you can do. You can make this granular. You can, you know, you can turn it up or down. You can do so much different stuff in here. Or you can just use in a regular sampler. You just take it, drag it in, drop this bad boy in there, and you're done. You can put it in, hold on one second. Let me put it right here. You can put it right here. Boom. Works. Or like I did before, I just put in a drum machine design. I just made a drum machine designer with that, okay? I could take this, drop this, drop that in there. So now I got this as a drum machine designer, plug-in right here with the 808s and all that stuff like that. Like, it's so much stuff you can do with this when it comes to samples. And that's what makes this so much better than the Studio One. You know what I'm saying? So much better. So, I'm just saying this because really I'm really leaning towards a lot more doing stuff in Studio One. But as of right now, man, with the way sampling is right now, these programs, like even with Cubase, they have a better sampler. Like, it's a lot of stuff that's a little bit better, than actual Studio One when it comes to sampling. So I just want to get on here today, had this quick conversation with y'all. I know it's football time. Football game's about to start. I got to go watch my Bucks. You know what I'm saying? Go Bucks. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go ahead and get that dub today. And then we're going to come to Atlanta, which I'm going to end up going to that game on Thursday night. Going to go ahead and watch that game. Go Bucks. And we're going to have a great time. But yeah, I just want to come on here with you guys and go over that since I went over the Studio One stuff last time. This time I want to go over the Logic stuff. And I just wanted to go ahead and, and just kind of distinguish between the two. What you were saying over here, said the Waves sample browser is so good, same as with the ADSR sample browser, because you can go through, use the plugin and sync with it. Yeah, I did notice that with the Wave stuff. So Ant said, so what things can you do to the sample to compensate for the sound loss, then put in things on the timeline? Okay, let me do something real quick, then we'll leave on out, all right? What I like to do is this. Let's go ahead and empty everything real quick. And let's see here. I hate that you have to have some type of a track up here on Logic. What I like to do a lot of times is, say for instance, let's just take this snare right here. So we're going to do this optimized because it's cool. So as you guys can see, the sample is optimized and it's, we can play it down the timeline and everything. There's certain things you can do. You can add drive to it. You can add drive to it with the filter. See that? You can add drive. It adds a little bit of noise and stuff to it, like a little drive to it. You can add different filters to it. Okay, you can add different filters to it. So you can cut off the filter. You got the filter cutoffs. You got stuff like that as well. Now, I'm going to take the filter off. And you have an amp on here too. So you have different things with the amp. You can go ahead and turn this amp, turn that up a little bit more, and it'll kind of give it a little bit more volume. All right? That's cool. One of the main things that I try to do a lot of times It says go in here. What I try to do a lot is I will go into my audio units and I would go to, let's go to Fab Filter. I go to Fab Filter and I would add saturation. I would add like Saturn or something like that. Any type of saturation plugin. As soon as you play it, it starts to sound better. So I turn this off. Sounds like that. You can add that saturation to it, and then you can bump different things in it. So say, for instance, right here, I can take this and I can do this, and I can add saturation to it, and even on the low end, like on the Fab Filter, and give it a little bit more body in there. And then what it does is it keeps things from like seriously peaking and stuff like that, even though it's loud as you can hear it on here right now. But you can really drive it up there like that, and it gives you a little bit of it gives a little bit more of a drive and a little bit more of a feel. Okay, so that's what you can do. But I try to tell people a lot of times, just use it in a way to where if you can add it to the timeline, you can do that. But any type of saturation plug-in, oh, it's cool. Oh my goodness, hold on, my bad, y'all, my bad. I forgot to switch the thing over. I'm over here, just talking away. Hold on, my bad, y'all. Hold on, my bad. But here it is. I'm sorry. So I was doing this right here. So I got the sample in here, and then what I did was I added the Saturn 2, and I took the high end. You can take that down. You can, it adds that saturation to it, and then you can take and this is much different than like a EQ. A EQ is just you can take and you can add certain things, and with the frequencies. This is adding saturation to the frequency. So it's not making this louder or whatever, like it's just adding saturation to the actual frequency. So that's how you can get those sounds sounding better. So I can take this off, that's how it sounds, and then when I turn it on, that's how it sounds. And all it's doing is just adding saturation to it. So it's not even really like, yeah, it's just, just shaping the transients. That's all you're pretty much doing. So yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to get ready to go ahead and watch these football games. I want to show you guys that and, just tell you guys why I felt that the drum machine design is better than the Impact and why the actual sampler in Logic is better than the sampler inside of Studio One. And I hope that they can get that straightened out, because if they can get that straightened out, things will be a lot better. Just to me personally, I think things will be a lot better. And I'm going to do more lives. I'm going to show you guys how I import my sounds and stuff like that for my MP and do more stuff like that, because I like sitting on here with you guys on live and just kind of going through it. But if you guys came on here late and you guys want to watch this, make sure you guys go ahead and watch this whole thing from the beginning. And, you can learn some stuff. So if you came in here late, go back, watch the whole thing from the beginning. I'm gonna leave this up here forever, so you can watch the whole thing. And that's basically what I said. I totally agree with you, Rock. I said that saturation adds harmonic distortion. But either way, if it's adding harmonic distortion, it's still in some way shaping the transient. It's still, either way, you're shaping it. Like, you're still shaping a transient if you add harmonic distortion. The transient is still being shaped. Like, people get too deep sometimes. Oh, here we go. These football things. Hoping my Chargers bang out on them Chiefs. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But all I want to say is, hey, go Bucks. You know what I'm saying? And go Studio One, and hopefully they will go ahead and update those samplers really soon. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. Put them in the comment section after the video. I try to go in the comment section and I always try to, answer you guys' questions or whatever you guys want to say on there, positive or negative. It's all good. And we just try to have a good time. So I appreciate you guys coming on here on y'all lovely Sunday before all the football games start. And we're going to start doing more lives like this. If you want to see more stuff like this, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that like button so we can get more traffic on this. And I'll start doing more lives. That way you can ask me questions. I can show you some things just like this. All right. So I will see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for coming on here. And yeah, let's get these samplers. Let's keep these companies on their toes, man. Let's keep on their toes, and let's see if we're going to see any changes soon. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. Stay safe. And like I always say, peace out.